Hi, this is Ron Edwards, Master Sommelier and Director of Wine Education for Winebow Fine Wine and Spirits. Today we're going to talk about a really cool, tiny production, high quality Pinot Noir from Argentina. I know you didn't expect me to say Argentina, but I did. This is a very small and elite bottling from Domaine Nico, which is a project of Laura Catena. And it is all about their love of Burgundy and how they can make great Pinot Noir in Argentina, not great Argentine Pinot Noir. Very different mindset, right? They're trying to make world-class wines that happen to be from Argentina instead of the inverse. And so this is a really unique and wonderful bottling. It is their Le Paradis bottling, 2016 vintage is what I'm tasting today. So this is Domaine Nico Le Paradis. It's named after a little parcel in the middle of one of the vineyards in Gualtajari. This is at 4,900 feet of elevation. The little parcel that this wine comes from is a total of 2 acres. And it's all planted to Dijon clone 667 if you keep track of those kind of things. What's unique about this is the way they ferment it and how they age it. So first of all, they're taking a very European approach to the idea of not using a lot of new oak. It's only 10% new oak. Everything else is used. And they're taking a very hands-on approach to the fermentation. There are 15 different fermentations that happen of the groups of grapes from these 2 acres, and each one is all indigenous yeast, and they have a process where 40% of the fermentation happens with 20% whole cluster. So 40% of the volume of all the grapes coming in are 20% whole cluster fermented. 20% of the fermentation is 100% whole cluster fermentation, and then 40% of the balance, in other words, the rest of the grapes go through a fermentation where they add sulfur not until after the wine reaches 4% alcohol by volume. So that's a really interesting way to make the wine. It keeps it really pure. Let's find out what we should expect. High-tone aromatic spices, a clove and really pure fresh cinnamon. There's a dusty nuance to this wine, kind of like a dusty field. Tart being cherry, raspberry coulis, fresh raspberry. There's a thin line of cola nut. A little bit of button mushroom. There's a sort of a mint meets thyme kind of aroma profile. I think that the stems are adding that beautiful herbal aroma profile. And then there's just a kind of a briariness to the wine. I think the first thing to say about this wine is how European Burgundian structured it is that powdery tannin grip that you'd expect out of something like Moray-Saint-Denis or maybe Volnay. And it has the tart fruit profile, that fresh, vibrant, fresh berry nature of a cool climate, which it is at that elevation. And then this less new oak approach, which just makes it feel like this wine was made in Europe. There's a purity and a directness of the fruit profile that points you back to the New World. But yeah, man, the wine could be from a beautiful producer in Burgundy, no problem. The flavor profile is coming through very similar, if a smidge tartar. So I don't really get any of the raspberry coulis, but I get fresh raspberry, fresh strawberry. There's a red currant and pomegranate note that comes through in the flavor profile that wasn't really jumping out in the nose. That dusty, powdery, earthy nature that I was getting in the nose is coming through as a mix of tannin as well as just a dusty, rocky nature. In Gualtajari, they have calcareous stones throughout the vineyard, so it makes sense that there be some minerality. And then what the finish just kind of keeps cycling through those fruits and refreshment and then back to the powdery nature. Let's see if the second sip holds true to the first. So elegant, so layered. I just really love the vibrancy and the crispness of the fruit. It's even stronger in the concept of cranberry is now coming through, and that red currant, fresh raspberry. This is a 2016, and it really actually tastes very, very young and new. I think it speaks well of how well this wine's going to age and what it could become in the future, adding extra layers. Because while they don't use all new oak, 90% of the barrels are second use oak, there's still that beautiful nuance of vanilla and cola and baking spices, cinnamon and clove specifically, that really kind of lift the flavor of this wine and add a break to the fruit. And then in the end, it comes back to that sort of rocky, dusty button mushroom character. This is a gorgeous bottle of Pinot Noir. I think it deserves to be talked about in the world of the great world-class wines from around the planet. And I'd love for you to go find a bottle and treat yourself.